Hi there and welcome to Capital View. Beef ban, meat ban, the meat ban now spreading across states and it has become very, very controversial. It all began in Mumbai with the Brihanmumbai Municipal Corporation at first demanding an 8-day ban on the sale and slaughter of mutton, which has now been struck down by the Bombay High Court. But we're asking the question, is this ban culture damaging, seriously damaging the image of Mumbai? Joining us on that, Sanju Verma of the BJP, Kesavan of the Congress, and Siddharth Bhatia, senior journalist and columnist. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Sanju Verma, the Bombay High Court has now stayed this ban. It has had very strong words to say about this ban. Was there any need for you to push ahead with this meat ban, knowing that you would get a lot of opposition, knowing that your own ally, the Shiv Sena, would perhaps rise up against you?
Sagarika, I first think certain things need to be put in perspective. And for the record, let me state very categorically that from 1964 en route to 2004, in between there was 1994. So between 1964 to 2004, the meat ban, as it were, was imposed not by the BJP but by the Congress-led government, and in 2004 there was a GR passed by the Congress and NCP-led combined. We can of course argue about the semantics that, it was raised from 1 day to 2 days and subsequently 4 or 8 days, as it were, in certain municipalities within the Mumbai metropolitan region and other parts of Maharashtra. But be that as it may, I think the important point that simply nobody seems to be talking about is the fact that this has not been the BJP's doing. Ban on cattle slaughter, beef ban, ban on some forms of cow slaughter, etc. have been in existence till kingdom come for many, many years in non-Congress and non-BJP ruled states. Say Tamil Nadu, West Bengal. It has been there in Congress ruled states as well, particularly Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, Assam, So I think to identify the ban on beef or cow slaughter with the BJP is taking things a bit too far.
Okay. Mr. Kesavan, the fact is, as Sanju Verma is pointing out, cow slaughter is banned in many states across India, and the fact is that this ban, the meat ban in Mumbai, has been there since 1964, and in fact the Congress NCP government, which was there in 2004, also in fact had this ban. So why just blame the BJP?
No, very correct. It was there in 1964 for a day and it was extended in 1994 and 2004. The question is, it was extended as a goodwill gesture to a community, but the precise point is, if it has been there for so long, why is there a controversy now? Have you ever had a debate before about this during the Jain festival? No. That is because the BJP has not only tried to extend it. When BJP did this, there is a very intrinsic doubt. There is a doubt and a malified intent associated with what BJP is doing, because the general feeling, the huge outcry is because they feel it's only ostensibly a goodwill gesture towards the Jain community, but probably targeting another community. Please see the words that their partners in alliance in the municipal corporation Shiv Sena has used. Strong words. Shiv Sena said it is religious terrorism, food fascism, food fundamentalism.
Right.
So, let me just make a point. The issue is, if you see the history of even Bombay, see the pattern after they've come to power, whether it was banning meat, or saying that they'll de-recognize madrasas, there is a pattern to what they're doing, and the general feeling is this is targeted against a community.
Siddharth Bhatia, what do you believe is the motivation behind this ban?
See, let's just go back a bit. I think there is a lot of sophistry going on here. When the cow ban, when the beef ban was signed, the bill was signed by the president some months ago, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra said, this is one of the happiest and most successful days of my life. And at that time, and now to say that the beef ban, cow slaughter was always there, so we didn't do anything, is a little bit of twisting of facts. One, that ban hit Muslim Qureshi butchers really badly, because now anyone can go to them and say, you have been selling cow meat, and that's cases have happened like that. So one. Two, so ban culture was already beginning to happen. Two, now this, when the BJP spokesperson says this ban has existed, firstly, I don't know why the Congress gets dragged into it every time the BJP wants to justify something. 8 days the ban was imposed in Mira Bhayandar, 8 days. And that ban was sought to be also imposed in Mumbai. First, they did it for 4 days, and then the courts have knocked it down. The ally Shiv Sena not only went against it, the ally Shiv Sena clearly said this is intolerable. They went around cooking meat. The MNS went around cooking meat. Clearly, what you have done is try to impose your sense of morality on behalf of somebody, that's the excuse, and try to say, this is what everyone else in the city should eat because about 200,000 people will get offended. So let's not say that, you know, this has existed. A lot of things have existed. Somebody said even Emperor Akbar did this. Why are you dragging that in? What have you done is the question. And your basic question,
Sanju Verma,
Sagarika, was clear.
is,
Your basic question, Sagarika, was what is happening to Mumbai? I can say that Mumbai's mental space is shrinking.
Sanju Verma, respond to that in fact, this ban has never been as rigorously implemented as it is at the moment. The fact is, it's just a shorthand for targeting Muslims. And the fact is, as a CSDS survey points out, 69% Indians are non-vegetarian. Only 31% of Indians are actually vegetarian. 45% Brahmins across India are in fact non-vegetarian.
Let me first say Mr. Bhatia is totally off the mark. As a journalist, he seems to be holding a brief for the Congress. You know, he has asked, why is the BJP dragging the Congress? And I want to pointedly tell him something, again, which most journalists seem to be oblivious to, is the fact that in the BMC, out of 227 members, 75 belong to the Shiv Sena, 52 belong to the Congress, and 31 belong to the BJP. You know, it is obviously simple common sense that the BMC cannot pass a resolution without the tacit approval of the Congress, without the tacit support of the Congress. That is how the Congress gets dragged in to answer Mr. Bhatia's question.
Siddharth, do you want to quickly respond to that? Because Sanju Verma is directly saying that you've got it wrong. Why did you respond to what she's saying that the ban was never asked for 8 days, and also it's not just a BJP motivated ban. All the parties in the BMC asked for this ban.
I was responding to what she began by saying that this ban has been going on till 2004. From 1964, and my point is very, very clear. It was there for a day, for 2 days, and it's not as if saying that the Congress was involved in somehow justifies anyone else's actions. The thing is that they went ahead and did it for 4 days in Mumbai. The courts have struck it down. Let's be clear, the courts have used strong language, very strong words, and said you cannot do this.
The courts have used very strong words. But let me just bring in Mr. Kesavan here. Mr. Kesavan, you know, in fact, in a court judgment, the Supreme Court has actually upheld such bans. In the judgment of March 14, 2008, Justice Markandeya Kadju, writing in favor of the ban, has said that we see nothing unreasonable in a restriction on non-vegetarian consumption for a few days. It is a short restriction for a few days, and surely the non-vegetarians can remain vegetarian for this short period. This is when the case came up about the closure of municipal abattoirs in Ahmedabad during the Paryushan festivities in Gujarat. This was in 2008, where Markandeya Kadju actually wrote a judgment upholding this temporary ban on non-vegetarian consumption.
See, Sagarika ji, the issue is if it is extended as a goodwill gesture as it has been done for 50 years, there has been no issue. As I told you before, here the intent is malified, and I'll tell you why. For example, take how BJP has politicized food. You've written very well today, you know, in your article you said, you know, about not good governance, food governance. What did the prime ministerial candidate say when he was campaigning in 2013? He talked about the pink revolution. He attacked the Congress party. He mocked the green revolution, you know, where so many farmers had sacrificed, and he said pink revolution is happening, and he, you know, insinuated meat exports, and he said, you know, government is indulging in pink revolution, totally politicizing this. And then what happens now when the BJP comes to power? In the first 8 months, meat exports have gone by 16%. The problem is it has become a, you know, complete big issue because BJP has always looked at it with a, you know, twisted intent. And I'll tell you, see what has happened, cascading effect in every state. All BJP ruled states have started banning
meat during
Right.
festivals. And this is not a false signal.
Sanju Verma,
And I'll tell you,
Sanju Verma, let me get you to respond. Let me get you.
There is a point, one point, Sagarika ji. I think Bihar elections have been announced and this cascading ban has happened. Nobody misses the link here.
Cascading ban is happening. Now, Sanju Verma, let me put it to you. This business of respecting sentiments, that because of the sentiments of the Jain community, therefore we have to impose a ban on non-vegetarian consumption and slaughter and sale of mutton. Now, where will these respecting sentiments end? Tomorrow, some people may be offended by the azan that comes from mosques. Tomorrow, some people might be offended by liquor shops. So, are you going to then open the Pandora's box of respecting sentiment? And is the state going to act on the basis of sentiment? Or is the state going to act on the basis of Articles 14, 21 and 19, which guarantee individual liberty and individual choice in our constitution?
I'm glad you asked me this question, Sagarika. First of all, I wish, the Congress spokespeople would do more homework and come rather than mouthing expletives against Modi. Modi bashing is not working for them. They've been losing one election after another and they still seem to be taking no lessons. Since they're irrelevant as a party any longer.
Is ban politics anti-democratic or not? Is it anti-democratic or not to engage in the politics of bans?
Let me come to that. You've asked a relevant question. Give me 1 minute to respond to that. You've raised very valid points under Article 19, 21. In fact, Article 25 also speaks about the freedom to profess and practice and propagate the religion of your choice. But please note that Article 14, 19, 21 and 25 are subject to reasonable restrictions by the state. Freedom is never absolute. It comes with a license, and our Indian Constitution categorically says that all these articles that we have just spoken of are subject to public morality, order and health. So, I think when we speak of fundamental rights, let us not forget that
but how are these to be defined? Are these to be defined by politicians? Are these to be defined by politics? What if Hindu sentiment is outraged at the azan from mosques?
You raised a very valid point about azan. I have never said that, because mosques in Thane and 45 loudspeakers in Thane are blaring azan at 5 a.m. in the morning in gross defiance of the judgment passed by the Bombay High Court to not have any loudspeakers functioning till 6 a.m. Hence, the meat ban is justified. No. All I'm saying is, if you're talking of freedom of expression, if you're talking of secularism, then, don't be selective. Let us not have this selective outrage.
The issue is this. See, this is a larger part of the RSS agenda. And now, the RSS BJP nexus has come out in the open. What does the RSS believe in? Their chief said, Ek Basha, Ek Devta, Ek Sampradaya Banana Hoga. They believe in imposing uniformity. And this is a classic way of imposing uniformity, and their intent has come out in the open. This is not a Gujarat model of development, Sagarika ji. It is Gujarat diet. Right. They want to impose Gujarat diet all over the country. That is why all the sections have condemned it.
We can debate secularism, we can debate competitive communalism, but why do it through the instrument of bans? Let's take a short break at this point and come back and talk about whether this ban politics is alienating the core voters, perhaps, of the BJP, the aspirational, the youth, the new middle class who voted for the good life or aspiration. Are they being alienated by ban culture? That's after the break. Welcome back to Capital View. Meat ban, beef ban, ban after ban, cascading bans across states. It all started in Mumbai. We're asking, is the image of Mumbai being defiled by these bans? Siddharth Bhatia, though, it is a little bit ironic that a party like the MNS and the Shiv Sena that routinely use violence to impose their will and to ban dissent, they are now protesting against this ban culture, and they are now targeting the ban culture. Surely they're as involved.
When the meat ban was imposed for a few days because the Jains religious festival was being celebrated, fair enough, then you don't ban fish. And the government of Maharashtra comes out with some bizarre explanation about how the fish is not killed, it's merely taken out of the water. And the same thing may apply to, say, rooted vegetables. So, you start thinking that there is something always a political agenda behind this, because this becomes a little easier to do and simultaneously achieve certain other political objectives. Now, you asked about whether this kind of thing will hurt the voter, the core voter. The non-vegetarian versus vegetarian fault line is one of the oldest hidden secret fault lines of Mumbai. And clearly there are religious as well as community within Hindus, community issues involved here. A lot of politicians keep raising it, it dies down. And this time, with the municipal elections coming up in 2017, it's going to be one of those issues that MNS and the Shiv Sena will run with, to say that this is a party, because they're all going to be fighting separately. This is a party that only benefits and helps people who then fund them, who are on their side, but not the core Maharashtrian vote. And that's going to, I think, prove a little expensive, politically speaking.
It might prove expensive politically. Sanju Verma, respond to that. Aren't you worried that, you know, the youthful voter, the aspirational voter, the voter that is looking for a progressive kind of an India will be really seriously alienated if you become a party that is associated with bans? Of banning beef, of banning meat. You've now come up with a sedition circular. You have issues on pornographic websites. That, of course, has been now reversed. So if you become a party that stands for social policing and moral policing, is this not going to alienate your core voter?
My simple point is, why do we have this selective outrage? You raised a very important point about Azan. I want you to go back and read some articles by Saeed Khan, one of the very notable activists from Mumbai. He says it's okay to blare the Azan call, but not at 5 in the morning. And you know, the rights of Muslims cannot be at the expense of the sleep and peace of Hindus. Let me also ask you. No, Sagarika, one more point.
No, but the issue is, Sanju Verma, surely that these decisions have to be arrived at by a certain process. It can't be just a unilateral ban being suddenly imposed. There has to be a certain debate. There has to be consultation with stakeholders. You can't have unilateral diktat by the government which alienates people.
You have to give me the chance to make my point without interrupting me, Sagarika, please.
Go ahead, Ms. Verma.
Okay, let me now come to a very moot point. Everybody says the government has no right to decide what I should eat on my plate, what I do in my bedroom, what I do in my kitchen. Perfectly fine. But don't forget that while you have the freedom to choose, as citizens you don't have the control over the consequences of your choice. And that is precisely the reason the state comes in the interests of the greatest good of the greatest number. That is something that
these are highly subjective terms. These are highly subjective terms. The state has to operate according to the constitution. The state can't operate on sentiment. Let me just bring in Mr. Kesavan here, but let me just put to you, Mr. Kesavan, now your governments have banned satanic verses of Salman Rushdie. You've banned Taslima Nasreen's book. You've banned the Congress NCP government banned James Lane book on Shivaji. Your government allowed the pulping of Wendy Doniger's book. How can you complain about the BJP's ban culture when your government is not known for particularly not using the ban as a political weapon?
No. First thing is, every time Sanju Verma ji starts off by using harsh words against Siddharth Bhatia ji in me, I first want to tell her one thing: stop being condescending and learn to be tolerant of others' views. When coming to your question, Sagarika ji, it is very simple. See, there are two issues. One is the issue of personal freedom. Another one is about law and order. I think as an individual, I think definitely whether it's a book or a movie, it's completely up to personal freedom and personal choice. There is no question about that.
Are you willing to admit that successive Congress governments also have been equally remiss in upholding liberal and democratic principles? Now that has to be admitted as well.
Let me tell you one thing. Yesterday, a very senior diplomat was making a point. He said, as an individual, you would like to probably say, definitely, individual freedom is important. But if 10 people, when a particular book was released, when 10 people died, it becomes a law and order situation. But, so there are two angles to it. One is the governing side and one is personal liberty side. And I think the Constitution has enough safeguards where we exercise personal liberty, not at the cost of law and order. But here, there is a pattern. That is the difference. Here, they have dictated in Bombay what you can see, what you can eat, what you can speak. I mean, it is a pattern, and now this is such an encroachment and impinging on, freedom, and everybody sees this as a very selected targeting. Right. That is the problem.
Okay, is this, Siddharth Bhatia, as a Mumbaiker, as a resident of Mumbai, is the mood there that in fact the government is completely getting misplaced priorities by changing the police commissioner, beef ban, meat ban, sedition laws, when there is a drought a very, very serious drought in Maharashtra. Do you feel that there is a serious loss of priorities on the part of the BJP government in there in Maharashtra?
Well, firstly, I just want to say, I mean, it's happened 2 or 3 times just now on your show, and I don't want to bring it up each time. But I must say that for every reply anybody else makes, if the BJP spokesperson is going to start getting a little personal and say this person has not done that, this person has not done that, doesn't take us very forward. Secondly, as a citizen of this city, this wonderful city, I must tell you that I have no political preferences. Over the last few years, I have seen a lot of intellectual and other space shrink. There was a ban even earlier on bar girls. So it's not that I'm standing up for party A, B or C. But what has happened in the space of these last 8 months or so, this is a government that has been seen to behave like, given to diktats. And some of those diktats are bureaucratic, like the shifting of the police commissioner suddenly, and some of those diktats are personal. And people are beginning to wonder what is going to come next. Is it going to be one day in my bedroom, in my kitchen, and next in my living room, what I can see, and then next in my wardrobe? So in that sense, this is no longer the cosmopolitan city one thought it was. And certainly this banning, this thing of banning, the diktat, from today it will be banned. From today you will see only this. That is really beginning to hurt this city's image and this city's well-being.
Very quickly, Mr. Kesavan.
See today what has happened in terms of the licenses being given to taxi cab drivers who have to know Marathi. This is intolerance. See, there is a pattern. Okay. This is governance by intolerance.
This is intolerance. The fact is, Sanju Verma. Now let me give you the last word. When voters voted you in, when you got that big mandate of 2014, do you think voters voted for a RSS-driven cultural agenda?
Sagarika, being pro-Hindu does not make me anti-Muslim or anti-Sikh or anti-Christian. Please understand. Hindutva is a way of life. The Supreme Court has said it's a secular way of life. Hindutva is not akin to Hinduism. I think that is where we make a mistake. Hindutva is not akin to Hinduism. And I think the voters are smart enough to see the vote bank politics.
Okay.
Tell me honestly,
Sagarika, we're going to have to leave it there.
Sagarika ji, sabka saath, sabka vikas is a jumla. And that has been proven by these bans.
Can you please ask Mr. Kesavan?
Okay, Sanju Verma, Kesavan ji saying sabka saath, sabka vikas is a jumla. Very quickly.
No. Can I
now come? It's a Bharatiya Jumla party and they only know how to
hang on a second.
Polarize people.
Hang on a second. We're going to have to end the show here. Sanju Verma
Sagarika,
over there.
Let me just make a last point.
Very quickly.
Make one last point.
10 seconds. Very quickly.
Muslims account for 12% of Mumbai's population. Jains account for 1% of Mumbai's population. If we wanted to play vote bank politics, why would we not be appeasing Muslims? The point here is that we believe in justice for all and appeasement of none.
We're going to have to leave it there. We're going to have to leave it there.
We believe in justice for all and appeasement of none.
Right, I'm going to have to actually wrap the program there. Sanju Verma, Mr. Kesavan, we clearly need probably 24 hours to thrash this issue out, but we're completely out of time. Sanju Verma saying that the BJP is not going to do vote bank politics. The BJP, in fact, is doing pro-development politics. The Congress, they're maintaining this is fascist and cultural oppression of the minorities. Siddharth, Bhatia, they're saying that this ban culture is doing tremendous damage to the image of Mumbai and may even alienate the voters who voted for good governance. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. That's it on Capital View. We're back again next week.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.